Overall, I think, and this is what I said on air after the game, this should be looked at as a disappointment. This was a disappointing performance. The ultimate result that they got, I think, is fortunate because they should have been down 2-0. Jamaica missed the penalty. Bailey missed the penalty and the follow-up, by the way, with an incredible shank. Matt Turner saved the penalty, kept the U.S. in the game, and ultimately credit to the U.S. for fighting back and being able to at least salvage a point. But Jamaica was the better team on the day. I thought that there was a lack of clarity in terms of what they wanted to do, the U.S. I thought that individually there was a consistency in being second to the ball, in not playing quick enough. I thought if you look around at this lineup, not good enough from Tolkien, not good enough from Aiden Morris, who grew into it a little bit, but still I'm not sold on him. Zendejas, not good enough. Sonora, absolutely not good enough. Jordan Morris had a quiet day. Jesus Ferreira in that strange false 9 position did nothing, and he was fortunate to be on the field and then provided the assist ultimately with a little bit of luck in terms of a deflection at the end. I will say that BJ Callahan, who we're going to talk about going forward a little later in the pod too, we judge coaches on their ability to adjust and to change. And at halftime, I said, BJ, you got the job. Now you figure out how to change it. And he did. He made the changes, whether it was Cade Calla who came in and brought a little bit of energy out there on that left-hand side, Christian Roldan bringing a little bit more consistency and forcing the issue, and then obviously up top with Brandon Vasquez scoring the goal. The goal for Jamaica is maddening, Mosse. All right, we remember we had a whole thing during the World Cup talking about set pieces and the fact that the United States men's national team even had, of their plenty of coaches that they have, one of them was actually, one job was set pieces, and they were horrible on the attacking end. And in this game, we saw that they were horrible on the defending end. They no longer have that set piece coach, but still, this is a problem because this is fixable. If Jamaica just did an incredible play and went right through the U.S. and found a way to score a beautiful goal, all right, I can say fine, I don't like it, but at least they did something. This is a set piece where the marking was missed and then the timing communication was off, which obviously kept low on. So that's the initial thoughts. I got some more, but that's my initial thoughts. You?
Yeah, it's always frustrating when a player screws up the offside trap like Miazga did. Junior did that on Paulo Rossi's third goal. My dad has never forgiven him. That's a deep cut Brazil reference. But I do think some perspective is needed. If you hearken back to the Gold Cup 2 years ago, yes, the U.S. sent a B team. They won all 6 games. They won the tournament. So that's been neatly folded into this narrative about the U.S. being so much better than everybody else in CONCACAF. And big picture, I do agree with that. But if you look a little closer, they had a game against Martinique. They won 6-1, which didn't even feel like a real game. I think this upcoming match against St. Kitts and Nevis will be the equivalent of that in this tournament. But the other 5 games they played were all tight 1-0 affairs that easily could have ended 1-1. So I think the overall takeaway is that these other CONCACAF teams have improved to a point where if the U.S. sends this kind of squad to this tournament, it is going to be a struggle for the most part. You talk about Jamaica. That front four the other night, they all play in the Premier League. Leon Bailey, Damari Gray, Bobby De Cordova-Reed, Mikel Antonio. You have Andre Blake in goal. They're bringing on guys like Corey Burke and Shamar Nicholson. It's a pretty good team. So up against the sort of squad the U.S. put together and guys that have never played together before, I expected it to be a struggle. I thought it'd be a little better than it was, but not too far off from what I expected, to be honest.
There's a part of me that actually enjoys seeing a situation where the United States is not only competitive, but I think that you can say this was a inferior U.S. team to Jamaica. And I guess in that sense, the glass is half full in that Jamaica still wasn't able to beat the United States, even with the fact that they were playing this 11. I'm torn a little bit because, and I know I've gotten a lot of questions on Twitter about why should I care about the Gold Cup if the United States Soccer Federation doesn't care about the Gold Cup because they're not bringing their best players.
I do think to give this tournament a greater sense of purpose, it has to be more about the Cade Cowells and Jalen Neals and less about the Jordan Morrises and Aaron Longs. Even when a guy like Aiden Morris struggles, that's still an interesting data point for a young player to know what he can and can't do at this point in his career, versus when an Aaron Long or DeAndre Yedlin struggles, we kind of know what those guys are at this point. So I do think this needs to lean more towards the younger players. I'd even like to see Gaga Slonina get a game. Obviously, Matt Turner was great. He captained the team on his birthday, saved the penalty, as you mentioned. And I wouldn't do it against St. Kitts and Nevis because we're not going to learn anything about Slonina in that game. But assuming you win that and you're through to the next round, maybe that last group game against TNT, give Slonina a start so we get to see him in this tournament. I do think BJ Callahan generally has to move in that direction of making this tournament about more of the younger guys on the roster.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops every week. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.